Black Feather power pick is that one of the strengths of Skye.
Mm-hmm.
You can go weapon in the lane, you can go crystal in the jungle, you can even go crystal in the lane if you really wanted to. But it's one of those very versatile picks that you can pick up in just about any situation.
Yeah, I am rather fascinated that, we're seeing a strategy that we thought was going to be implemented prior to this game. Churnwalker is the pickup here. I think that makes sense for Vision. With a Rona, you want those close fights. Churnwalker's great. Into the fray with those chains right behind you is very scary.
Yeah, and the difficulty will be the Skye. Skye can get out of the chains pretty effectively, but if you get those chains locked in quickly and get that stun, if you take away the mobility from a Skye, all of a sudden she just becomes significantly less effective. Not to mention, if she's using that forward barrage to chase down an ally, and you just pull her back with a chain, and Churnwalker can work against the Skye. It's just a matter of who's going to be quicker with their reflexes. And then a Baptiste as the final pick. I don't know if you've seen this, Dragon, but the empowered Bad Mojos with a team chained does a massive amount of damage.
Yeah, that's a really nice pickup here. Vision, I like their draft. We'll just have to see how they execute it, because the Skye's going to be just more of a nuisance. And if you don't take care of the Skye early, that's typically where we see a little bit of failure, from Arona, is to allow the Skye to get really stacked up. I really do like this pick. We haven't seen it be very successful, but on paper, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's going to be iffy, though. Churnwalker can actually do very well against the Rhyme, because you just melt through his fortified health very, very quickly with those chains. The drafts here have basically all been focused around one hero for each team. You look at Vision's draft, their entire draft is about trying to shut down this Skye, trying to prevent her from having that mobility to dance around fights. And we've seen Rona's actually be able to work into Skye before, because Rona has a few gap closers herself. And then the side of Nova, their team composition is almost entirely built to try and shut down this Rona. You have the Skye and the Rhyme both trying to lock down the Rona, prevent her from being able to get those massive stacks and that massive amount of durability that she always gets when she starts spinning. So it'll be really interesting to see which of these teams is able to execute on that strategy of focusing on the enemy laner better.
Yeah, I mean, Rhyme, the nerfs that have come to Rhyme have made him a little bit less effective. But again, you look at the Rona Baptiste composition as well as the Churnwalker, and you really can't think of too many other melee heroes that would just handle that entire composition as effectively as Rhyme. You still are going to have to play this Rhyme really perfect. You can't make a single mistake. And a lot of it's going to come down to just Nova's early game. Again, I think one of the things I'd love to see is I'd really love to see Eco possibly pick up a defense contract for the early game. So we're actually jumping into the game right now, and it looks like he has not. Again, Eco deciding really not to go that route, but what happens is Nova ends up losing an early skirmish in the early game, and when that unfolds that way, it puts him at such a disadvantage into the next fight, and we haven't really seen Nova handle that very well.
Yeah, well, I mean, in game number one, I think they handled it pretty well with when they decided to rotate and make those moves. But yeah, like you said, when it comes to having a 3-on-3 fight, that has been where Nova has looked a little bit better. But with Shaded Talent, with this Churnwalker, if you can get these chains down, you all of a sudden become very, very strong in the level 1 skirmish. And right now you see the carries all level 2, the captains both level 1, both teams being hesitant around this Elder Treant. Neither side wanted to make the first move, but Vision Gaming do start it up. And they immediately back out, trying to say, okay, you guys can take the Treant aggro. This is kind of how this dance works for a while, but it is going to be going all in now, and it does go over to PvP Warrior, picking up that first Elder Treant. And both teams going to be now actually a full recall from Vision Gaming. Not expecting that, as it's just members of Nova rotating up to the lane, but just Delphi going back to base.
Absolutely. It's been an interesting series, because we've gotten to see these teams really dig deep into hero pools that they've got. and this is a great example. We haven't seen Vision play a lot of Rhyme recently, but, you know, you have to imagine this is something they'd have. I mean, sorry, Nova play a lot of Rhyme. Lone Delphi, he's typically on a poke hero, and while Rhyme is pokey, it's the melee type of poke that maybe plays more like a Baptiste. Nova has struggled these early first couple minutes, like when you talk about contesting the Elder Treant, it seems to be an area where Nova's not been as effective.
Yeah, well, right now, PvP Warrior in the lane, going to be obviously looking to have same level of performance that we've seen from Rona all throughout this series. And they're going to be looking to, ouch, down to the jungle. Kaz getting invaded. FPG and Eco able to find themselves that kill there and getting the Elder Treant for Delphi. Now Delphi, he can look to go aggressive still prior to 4 minutes. No sentries means that he can go right into the enemy backs, but he's going to get collapsed upon here, although Shaded Talent misses on the hook and chain. And that one goes over to Delphi. Now, can they find any more work using the chains to actually pull Delphi through the Ordained? Interesting little combo there, but Kaz, he wants to just get this farm. He doesn't want to worry about this fight, but Delphi, he has other plans. He steals away another jungle monster. How much more is he going to be able to get? As he goes for this Treant. Eco is here now as well, and they're going to look to just turn this around. Big stun from the Holy Nova, and Kaz, he's going to fall. Lone Delphi and Eco, again, putting pressure on Kaz in the jungle.
Really nicely done by Nova so far in this game. They didn't get that first Treant, but they've done a great job afterwards, just trying to follow up with aggression. And, you know, you don't usually think of Rhyme as early aggression, but when you're playing against just melee heroes, for the most part, he's very effective. He gets in your face, and you really, once the fight goes the opposite direction, you can't get away. I mean, Baptiste doesn't have a good disengage, neither does Churnwalker. Rona does, but again, all this has been happening in the jungle where Nova does need to take advantage and snowball. That's what they did last game. That's what helped them win that game, was just being able to ensure that they controlled the jungle as far as being aggressive, stealing away farm. It was a little bit different. It was what really changed between the first two games was that one thing, being more aggressive at actually denying the enemy their gold.
And you can see Delphi again coming up aggressively, this time into the lane, looking to try and make a play. Now the as level 6 has that Valkyrie available, but they do want to stick around, try and get some pressure out here. I don't know how much they're actually going to be able to get, but for now, it's forcing Kaz up into the lane. This is just buying time while the jungle camps respawn. And Lone Delphi can now go down and make his rotation once more.
He's going to go down, get some shop in here. It is Nova in the gold lead as well as with those 2 kills. But when we look at items, I think he needs to go back and after this next rotation, pick up a few. He's at that pretty sizable disadvantage. A lot of denial coming in from Lone Delphi. Rhyme's not the fastest hero in the game, but it seems like Lone Delphi's been very effective at getting on the other side of the map to deny Kaz additional farm.
Yeah, right now, are they going to be, once again, just stealing away camps? This has been Delphi's MO these last 2 games. It has been extremely effective for Nova and has garnered them a little bit of a gold lead, about 800 gold, but now they can get a lot of pressure onto this turret, catching them in the rotation. They get that turret down to about half health. Kaz, on the wrong side of things, Delphi has no problems trying to engage in this, but a great Fearsome Shade is going to keep Delphi at bay. There's going to be that Valkyrie coming down, though, doing a lot of work, and the heals from the members of Nova keeping Delphi alive. He was very close to falling, and all of a sudden back up over 80% health. Now FPG using the Death and Love to help clear out the jungle. Yeah, the Fountain of Renewal just did a lot of work for him alongside the Fortified Health. They just weren't really able to get that damage to stick. And now Nova, they can just walk away from this one feeling pretty comfortable. At least thought they could. FPG has to use his flask. He's going to be in some trouble. PvP Warrior and Kaz, though, not really able to get in on this fight. And Fearsome Shade gets thrown out, doesn't steal the camp. And so it looks like they will just be backing off.
Absolutely. Nice job by Vision. They got some good poke there. I think that there might have been a little attempt by Nova to, as they disengaged, maybe to bait, because they had both flasks on on Lone Delphi and FPG available, and actually Eco still has his flask, and it was both carries from actually Shaded Talent and PvP who had burnt their flask. So again, a little bit of an advantage from Nova as they disengaged, but they got some good poke on FPG, and he dropped low enough that I think it was a little too safe. Too risky to try to go back into that fight. But it's still a very, very close game. Short of a few rotations that had gone away of Nova early, we are starting to see Baptiste find some additional jungle farm and start to pull that lead in. But Kaz got caught out.
Yeah, Kaz getting caught, and he's going to fall. Death from above doesn't even connect before he's dropped. And that is going to be, again, trouble for Vision Gaming. That's kind of been the trend of these last couple of last game and now this game. There's the double chains going out, just trying to rotate down, disrupt Delphi from taking this gold miner. He's actually gotten pretty low. That's a big trespass for the stun, but the heal onto Delphi from Eco will keep him alive. And now PvP Warrior has to get out of harm's way. Shaded Talent, he's just being left out to dry. And Nova able to find these advantages. Here comes Kaz rejoining this fight, and they do take down Sky. Lone Delphi's pretty low as well. Got the fortified health. That's about all he's got as he uses the healing flask, and he falls. And Vision Gaming playing the long con, letting their captain fall, but in return they find 2 kills and an immense gold payout.
Impressive comeback here. They could potentially seize the first turret as well. And not a good look. Nova. Eco's going to come back here in time to contest. Does get the stun, though. PvP has to be careful here.
Yeah, PvP Warrior, he's going to take that turret. I think he's going to be... Well, I think he would have been okay with accepting his fate and trading his life for the turret, but he gets the fountain from Shaded Talent in order to keep him alive. I think Crucible may have been used in there as well, just for good measure. So a lot being used to make sure that their carry gets out alive, and they're not going to really be punished for it at all either, because Nova are not going to try and push this lane up. So all of a sudden, just like that, after what had looked really good for Nova, the gold mine and the turret going over has actually given about a 2k gold lead to the side of Vision now, but they're diving in hard onto Churnwalker. PvP Warrior has gotten here in time. The chains are out, pulling 2 members in. Trespass will get a double stun as Eco is a little late on the block. Now the Divine Intervention comes through, is enough to keep their team alive. PvP Warrior cannot stay in this fight any longer. FPG is still full health. Delphi has not gone down somehow, some way. FPG will take that turret down. Now can continue to maybe even look for more. He's not going to find another kill. So Nova able to answer back very quickly.
Oh, the forward barrage by FPG in that fight was able to take down Kaz so effectively. You could see him. I mean, this is a weapons guy, but he still is packing a huge punch with his abilities. Positioning is key for FPG. You've got a little bit of crowd control, and, with those trespasses coming out here, it's going to be a matter of just getting the right block at the right time. Now, as we get later into the game, it's going to be a lot harder because you're going to be having an Echo probably build on Shaded Talent. That's going to be basically making sure you hold your reflex block for the right time to block, maybe not necessarily the first time, but you're also going to have that Baptiste spamming those Ordained. So right now, it looks like FPG was doing a great job managing that crowd control. It could be a little bit different story if this game goes to the late.
Yeah, the target focus is something that I think maybe Vision Gaming might have to look into. FPG being able to survive that entire fight virtually untouched while they focused on Lone Delphi feels like a mistake, because Delphi's going to take a lot longer to take down. You need to be focusing on this Sky. It's what your composition is built for. Right now, they're able to get some good damage onto both of them. And there's going to be the chains pulling Delphi back in. He's the only one that's hooked for now. That's going to be the Ordained keeping him in place, but the Divine Intervention to heal him up. FPG is going to take a lot of damage as he gets stunned up, but they're still focusing everything onto Delphi, and they're not going to be able to find these kills. Finally, they do get FPG as another pulls him in, and then PvP Warrior showing off his skills with this Rona to jump forward and find a second kill. Now they can turn their attention towards the gold miner. It'd be another near full payout for them if they're able to secure that one. But PvP Warrior, he wants to make sure that Eco does not try and interrupt this gold miner take.
Yeah, it's going to be a gold miner. They aren't going to go for the able to push down the lane for another turret, but they're winning these fights, Tasty. That's really what matters for Vision, is continuing to be able to change the fight, pick the fights correctly, seize up FPG. Lone Delphi, if he takes a little bit of damage early, is going to probably back off to a position where he's not, in the front. And FPG has to kind of follow. It can't be, just putting himself out there like that. We got to fight.
PvP Warrior, he's in kind of a risky spot here. The death from above is going to slow him up on the way out. I don't think he has enough to get out of this one, especially not with the Valkyrie stun. Yeah, he just got completely caught being way too aggressive on Lone Delphi. Now Kaz and Shaded Talent trying to do what they can. That's going to be a great block on the Fearsome Shade. Another nice block for Kaz to prevent the stun from the Holy Nova. The Trespass is not going to do enough, though, to keep Kaz alive, and that will be 2 quick kills picked up by Nova, capitalizing on a big mistake from Vision Gaming.
Yeah, and they're going to get this whole jungle farm, too. The Crystal Sentry's already down. You are seeing Rhoda come up here, but you don't want to risk giving a fight another kill over. Nova's here still pretty strong, and the Fountain's still in the bank. Yeah, PvP, I don't think you want to jump in there. And, again, it's still a pretty close game. Slight lead over to Vision, surprisingly. Nova, though, is coming back.
Yeah, Nova starting to come back, starting to find a few opportunities. But again, that last one was very much kind of handed to them by Vision Gaming. That was a situation. That's one of the things that Vision Gaming, one of the things they really need to work on is sometimes it does look like they just get overconfident and they play too aggressive, too far forward. Most times it does end up still working out for them because they do have massive leads, but they don't have a massive lead right now. They're only up by a little under 2,000 gold. They can't be making those, very aggressive, almost solo plays like PvP Warrior just did. He does get himself that Shiver Steal, though, and this is the Rona. Having the 2 offensive items is all that she really needs in order to hard carry a game, and they are definitely going to now have to try and find a fight here. They need to make sure that they get these chains set up before they go in. Shaded Talent, this doesn't connect with his first 2 throws. Third one doesn't hit either. It's a very short cooldown, so it's not the end of the world, but they need to try and get those to connect if they're going to look to try and start a fight. Very far forward, though. They have to be careful about going too deep underneath that turret. And for now, it looks like they might be best suited to just kind of back away, see if they can get Nova to chase them a little too far and try and turn something around there. But right now, it is just going to be both teams continuing to farm and just look for an opportunity to try and engage.
Yeah, it's interesting to see kind of how these fights have looked. They're going slow. Both teams have become more hesitant. Item-wise, PvP's kind of where he feels he's pretty comfortable. He still has that flask. You expect him to possibly build a 3rd item. It's really Kaz who's probably going to hope to build out that Broken Myth before he's happy enough. He's got the reflex block that he needs. The one thing I'm a little concerned about is Lone Delphi not building a reflex block yet. He's going to have to decide to build that pretty soon. But obviously FPG, having that Aegis already built, to deal with a lot of focus. You expect to come in, but with no reflex block on Lone Delphi, do you maybe just focus Lone Delphi down? Sky, could get out of the fight. Lone Delphi right now would be a little bit more vulnerable.
He's a little bit more vulnerable in terms of the crowd control, but keep in mind, it is still a Rhyme. He is extremely durable and difficult to take down. We're at a stage in the game where Vision, they actually feel pretty confident. You can see starting up the Kraken with just a PvP Warrior for now, but they are going to back off as Nova getting a little bit close. They want to break that aggro, maybe look for a fight, get these chains in. That's going to be Eco going in with the Benediction, looking for PvP Warrior, but now that the chains are on, can they turn and start to fight this? That's a nice death from above. The Trespass does get blocked, but the Fearsome Shade doesn't. FPG is in some trouble, gets a Divine Intervention. Meanwhile, Eco is actually dropping pretty low himself as Kaz is on the backside. They're fighting around this Crystal Sentry, but they get the first kill. PvP Warrior is now spinning as much as he can, but Delphi is surviving and finding these kills.
Nova.
And now it's just a singular Churnwalker. There's nothing Churnwalker can do on his own. Just chasing too far into that Crystal Sentry, not getting the kill onto FPG early really hurt Vision.
Yeah, absolutely. And pushing all the way back. Nova did a good job at getting near their Crystal Sentry to add an extra, support and damage dealer for them. And Vision just baited right into it, Tasty. They didn't even, question it. Going back, and you could see, FPG, or sorry, PvP Warrior just got so low, and on a Rona, who you're typically seeing having a lot of sustain in these fights, you really can't risk.
Yeah, it's again, it was very, very risky to go that deep. They tried so hard to get FPG down, but this target focus is just not working out for them. They're split up every single fight. You saw Kaz was trying to take down Eco on the backlines while PvP Warrior was deep trying to take down FPG, and because their damage is split like that, they aren't able to actually kill either of them until it's much too late. And so all of a sudden, Nova able to win that team fight, get that ace, and get themselves a Kraken pushing in towards this tier 3 turret. Kaz has to use those boots to get around the death from above. Very nicely placed by FPG, but now are they going to look for this fight? They need to just try and take this Kraken down. Lone Delphi throwing out those Winter Spires to help take the turret out as quickly as they can. See PvP Warrior going back to the base to heal up. Couple of chains are out for Shaded Talent. He pulls them in. There's going to be a stun onto FPG, but they've got Lone Delphi stunned up inside the base. The Divine Intervention is keeping him alive, and a big Valkyrie stun onto Kaz keeps him out of the fight for a few more seconds. Holy Nova will get a double stun, and Nova are just starting to turn this fight back around. PvP Warrior jumps out of the fray, gets on to the Sanctuary to heal up, and they will be able to turn their attention to this Kraken, but Kraken already took down one of their Vein Crystal turrets.
Nova, they are looking for the Game 2 victory to likely turn this series around, and with that first Crystal turret taken out, this is a game that they could absolutely win. They've got the mobility to be more aggressive. What you're really looking at now is, even though you're probably going to have a few more minutes to crack it, is you start looking at fights where Vision now have to be afraid of not necessarily getting ace, just going down where there's only one man standing. Like, you can't even give that up, because this is absolutely a case where Nova can just push in and close out a game.
This next fight is going to be extremely important. Vision need to choose their targets very carefully, because right now, every time they start to get FPG down low, he gets out of the fight just far enough, then they turn their attention to Rhyme, and once they turn their focus onto Rhyme, that's when all of a sudden you see the death from above come down and split the team up even further, and just cause even more of a damage split for this team. So at this point, side of Vision Gaming, they need to either recognize that they either need to get the kill on the FPG early, or maybe look to focus Eco. That's one of the things that I think is overlooked a lot, is focusing down the enemy captain, especially if it's someone like a Grace who can keep a team alive for so long. She doesn't have the tools that the rest of the team does to get out of a fight. She doesn't have the durability that a Rhyme does. She doesn't have the mobility of a Sky, and she's not going to be getting those Divine Interventions nearly as effectively as one of the carries would. So if they maybe focus on Eco, that could be the way to victory for the side of Vision Gaming. Of course, that's a lot easier said than done. Right now, they need to be careful of their positioning so they don't get out-rotated. Looks like we could be getting a fight starting up here shortly. The Treant does get taken by Vision. And they've got themselves in a position. They've got two chains out. That's all three now hooked. That's going to be the first trespass getting blocked. And it's now going to be up to Shaded Talent to try and get these chains placed once again. There they go, trying to get the damage onto anyone they can, but it looks like Kaz is worse for wear. He's going to be getting stunned up by a Valkyrie and dropped. Lone Delphi making plays on this Rhyme, and in a 2-on-3 situation, they actually makes it a 2-on-2 now. PvP Warrior finding some damage here, but I just don't know if he's got enough. He's going to get stunned up again. Lone Delphi just so durable. PvP Warrior has nowhere to go. A slow from Grace will secure the deal, and now Shaded Talent on his own has to run away, will get out. Now Kraken can be started by Nova.
Yeah, you saw once those reflex blocks were pulled, I mean, the Roots and the Grace Holy Nova, those stuns combined together are not going to allow the Rona to get out of there. Rona is susceptible to this composition as we get later into the game. It's been very risky, and we talked about, right? It was like when Krull went into the Grace, that was a risky comp. You're kind of seeing the same thing here. PvP's got an Aegis, but they need to make sure that they time the Crucible and Aegis effectively early. They got one kill, but now you're going to see Kraken going over to Nova. It surely is Nova's game.
Well, we'll see, because if Vision Gaming can find themselves a team fight early, they can maybe stop this one. But with only one turret, it is very, very unlikely. They are going to get themselves infused up. They're going to have to move forward aggressively. They're going to have to meet this Kraken very early and start getting damage onto it if they want to have any chance of trying to extend this game any further. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Getting damage on it early, but they have to be willing to turn and look for a fight early, but not overcommit to it. It's such a difficult spot to be in right now. They're focusing everything onto this Kraken. They want to make sure the Kraken is down before they really do much of anything else. But now they turn and look for a fight. Can they find the kills, though? If you can't get the kills early, you have to back off. They look for Eco. Eco is down. They have the one kill. Can they get more? Right now, it's going to be the kill on Dakaz. He has fallen. PvP Warrior in a 2-on-2 with his captain, and Lone Delphi and FPG just stalling him out. They get the kill onto PvP Warrior, and that will end it. They will not be able to stop this Kraken. And Lone Delphi and Shaded Talent, they both know that, and they will just end this game. And Dragonborn, we are going to a game 5.
Oh my goodness. Nova playing the way you'd expect them to, but more importantly, right at the beginning of the draft, just doing some of the more common sense picks here. Picking this guy, banning the Taka into the Rona was perfect, and then finishing it off with the Rhyme. I mean, you could see in the late game, there was just nothing that they could seem to find a way to get around that Rhyme. That Rhyme was just like wrecking havoc to Vision's strategy, and early on it looked like Vision might be able to wiggle in a victory here. But Nova shut that down pretty effectively after that 15-minute mark. 2 Krakens. I mean, there's got to be a statistic out there, Tasty, for the win rate you have when you've been able to secure 2 Krakens back-to-back. In this case, Nova just, you know, once you got that second Kraken, you really put Vision in a spot where they had to initiate a fight and win it right away. And there was just too much defense on Nova's side. They outwere so much sustain. You couldn't kill them fast